The transport ship landed softly on the blue grass of the Sara, the alien planet known for its peaceful species and cold traditions. Human scientist Ethan Cole stepped out, carrying only a small bag and a datapad. His mission was clear: observe the Saran culture, document their reproductive system, and leave. Simple. Ethan had read the files. The Sarans were a logical, emotionless species. Their mating process was more science than love. Babies were produced in pairing centers and raised by assigned caretakers, not parents. To them, intimacy was only a duty, but nothing in those files prepared Ethan for her. Her name was Ilari, the only daughter of the Saran ambassador. She stood tall, with glowing violet skin and soft silver eyes. Her face was calm, emotionless, but her eyes followed Ethan longer than necessary. Their first meeting was short. Ethan sat in the clean white room, asking questions. Zalari answered everyone with precision, like a machine. How often does your species reproduce? Every 6 cycles. On average, 3 offspring per adult. Do partners form emotional bonds? No, bonds are inefficient. Attachments create conflict. Ethan nodded, typing notes. But something felt off. Zalari was curious. Every time he looked away, he felt her eyes on him. Watching. 3 days passed. Ethan continued his research. The Saran leaders gave him full access to their systems. He visited pairing chambers, cold, sterile rooms with white lights and robotic assistants. He watched how Saran selected each other using genetic charts, never touching, never speaking more than needed. It all felt wrong, mechanical, empty. That evening, Ethan sat alone in his quarters, reviewing the footage. He sighed. They've removed love from life. He whispered. Then, a soft chime. The door opened. It was Zalari. She stepped inside quietly. No guards, no formal greeting. Do you need something? Ethan asked, standing. Zalari looked at him, her voice low. I have a question. One not approved by the council. Ethan frowned. All right. What is it? She hesitated. Her hands clenched slightly. Do humans enjoy it? The room fell silent. Ethan blinked. Enjoy, you mean? Mating, pairing, whatever word you use, she said. Is it pleasurable? He paused, unsure if he should answer. Yes, for humans, it's not just for reproduction. It's single quotes, emotional, intimate. We enjoy being close to someone. Zalari tilted her head, confused. Intimate? What does that mean? It means we don't just use our bodies. We connect with our feelings too. We care. We touch gently. We kiss. We love. Zalari stepped closer. Her voice dropped. We do not kiss. I don't even understand that word. Ethan smiled slightly. It's a soft press of lips. Between people who care for each other. It can mean affection, comfort, even passion. Strange, she said, her eyes searching his face. We only do what is necessary. Touch is rare. Feeling is dangerous. He watched her. Something in her was breaking. A wall, maybe. Do you want to know how it feels? He asked softly. Zalari looked away. I'm not allowed. Curiosity is not part of my role. I am here to answer your questions, not ask mine. But you are asking, Ethan said gently. Which means something inside you wants more than what your world allows. Silence. Again. Finally, Zalari whispered. When I watch you, you smile. You laugh. You speak with warmth. No one here does that. I thought your species was weak. But maybe we are the ones who are cold. Ethan stood, slowly walking toward her. He didn't touch her. Just stood near enough for her to feel the heat of his body. You're not cold, he said. You've just never been shown warmth. Zalari's lips parted slightly. Is warmth more than just temperature? Yes, Ethan said. It's connection. It's kindness. It's knowing someone sees you and doesn't look away. Zalari reached up just an inch from his chest, then stopped. Her fingers trembled. "I don't know what I'm feeling," she whispered, "but I don't want it to stop." Ethan smiled, placing his hand gently near hers, but not touching. "Then maybe, Zalari, we start with one simple thing." She looked up. "What?" He leaned in, close enough for her to hear his breath. "We talk, we understand. And if you still want to feel what it means to be human, I'll show you when you're ready." Zalari's eyes widened, something flickering in them, a tiny spark. "Then I'll return," she said softly, stepping back. "When I know what I want." And with that, she left. Ethan stood still, heart racing. This mission just became something else. Zalari couldn't sleep. She stood alone in the center of her quiet room, surrounded by smooth silver walls and the soft hum of machines. The Saran rooms were built for silence, not comfort. There were no pillows, no blankets, no warmth. She stared at her own hands. She had almost touched him. A human. No, not just a human Ethan. Something about him disturbed her. But not in a bad way. It was the way his voice softened when he spoke to her. The way his eyes never judged, even when she asked forbidden things. And worst of all, he smiled. Often. No, the Saran ever smiled. She tapped the communication pad beside her bed. "Access private study chamber," she said. "Request reason for visit," the system replied. "Personal research," she whispered. The next morning, Ethan entered the pairing chamber for another observation. He already knew what to expect. White lights, clinical instruments, and two Thesserans standing apart from each other like strangers. They wore emotionless expressions. Even the act of creating life here looked like a boring test. But this time, Zalari was there too, standing in the observation window beside him. Ethan glanced at her but didn't speak. She didn't either. Until the procedure began. A observation window beside him. Robotic voice gave instructions to the couple inside. The male lay on the medical table. The female stood still as a machine scanned their compatibility. A surgical tool was prepared. No one touched each other. No words. No closeness. No heart. Zalari suddenly turned to Ethan. "Do they ever hold hands?" she asked quietly. "No," he replied. "They're not allowed to. But would it make a difference?" He looked at her. "Yes, a big one." She lowered her head. "I was created this way. We all were. I never thought it was strange until now." Ethan took a deep breath. "Zalari, I'm sorry if I confused you. I didn't mean to." "No," she interrupted. "You opened something inside me. That's why I'm here." He blinked. "What do you mean?" "I requested access to ancient files," she said. "I studied Earth's history. Human literature, music, even mating behavior. Do you know what I found?" He raised his eyebrows. "What?" Her voice lowered. "Your species doesn't just survive. It feels. It loves. It longs. We've removed all of that in the name of peace. But maybe we removed something important." There was a long silence between them. In the chamber below, the robotic procedure ended. One of the subjects stood up and left. The other remained, eyes dull. "They call this unity," Zalari whispered. "But it looks like loneliness to me." Ethan turned to her, this time speaking gently. "You can choose something different." "Zalari." Her eyes met his. "How?" "Come with me." Back in Ethan's quarters, the lights were dim. He had added a few things since arriving: blankets from Earth, soft cushions, a small lamp that gave off golden light. It looked nothing like a Saran room. Zalari stepped in slowly, eyes scanning the warm surroundings. "This space feels alive," she said. Ethan sat across from her. "That's how I like it." Zalari took a seat. She looked unsure, nervous but also curious. "Tell me," she said, "how do humans begin?" He smiled. "It's different for everyone, but usually it starts with a look. Then a smile. Then touch. Gentle touch. She raised her hand slowly, her fingers barely reaching his. Like this? She asked, voice barely above a whisper. He nodded. Exactly like that. Their fingers brushed softly, like two worlds touching for the first time. Zalari gasped. It's warm. Ethan nodded again. That's what connection feels like. Zalari stared at her own hand as if it had betrayed her. No machine has ever made me feel this. Machines don't care, he said. But I do. Her eyes glistened. Why? Because you wanted to understand, and because I see someone brave enough to ask. Zalari stood up slowly. They will punish me for this, for being here. Ethan looked at her seriously. Then don't come as a student. Come as a friend. She stared at him. Her lips parted, but she said nothing. Then she turned toward the door, paused, and whispered without looking back. I'll return. Not because I was told to, but because I want to. And then she left. Ethan sat back, heart pounding. He knew it now. This wasn't just a cultural exchange, that it was the beginning of something much deeper. Zalari came without warning. No official escort. No report to the council. No excuse. Just silence. And a soft knock on Ethan's door. When he opened it, her eyes were wide, not with fear, but with something unfamiliar. Something alive. I didn't come for research, she said quietly. I came for me. Ethan stepped back, letting her in. The room glowed with soft yellow light, the kind Zalari had started to prefer. She stood in the center, stiff and unsure. Her long silver robe shimmered under the warm light, but her face was tight with nerves. Ethan waited. I reviewed over 200 hours of human data, she said finally. I watched your films, read your books, listen to your music. He smiled gently. And? Zalari looked up, confused and a little frustrated. Why do humans cry when they feel pleasure? Because sometimes joy is too big to hold inside, Ethan replied. She nodded slowly. I want to feel something that's real, she said. Not clinical, not assigned, not cold. Ethan sat on the edge of his bed, giving her space. What are you asking me, Zalari? She walked to him, step by step, like crossing a line she couldn't return from. Show me what it means to be wanted, to be chosen. Ethan's breath caught. Are you sure? She nodded. You said humans connect through touch. Then teach me where it begins. He didn't rush first. He asked permission. Can I hold your hand? Zalari nodded slowly, his fingers wrapped around hers. She gasped again, just like last time. Her senses were different. Thesserons had thinner skin, more nerve endings. Even small touches overwhelmed her. Your skin, she whispered. It's like a fire, but gentle. Ethan chuckled softly. I'll take that as a compliment. He placed her hand over his heart. Feel that? She blinked. It's fast. That's what you do to me, he said. Her cheeks darkened slightly. A Thesseran sign of emotional spike. What do I do now? She asked. I don't know what to give in return. You already are, Ethan said. You're here. You're honest. That's more than I expected. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Zalari whispered, kiss. May. Ethan looked at her gently. Do you know what a kiss means to us? She shook her head. It's trust. It's care. Sometimes. Love. Zalari closed her eyes. Then I want to trust. He leaned in slowly, watching her, giving her every chance to pull away. Their lips met soft, simple, delicate. But to Zalari, it was an explosion. Her mind raced, her skin tingled. It was too much. Too good. She pulled back, breathing fast. What is this feeling? Ethan smiled. Connection. She touched her lips. I've never felt anything like that before. Nothing the machines do compares. Because machines don't feel. People do. Then she asked the question he wasn't ready for. Can I see you fully? Ethan paused. Zalari. Not for science, she added quickly. Not for data. Just to understand, to compare, to learn. Her voice was sincere. I want to know what it means to be vulnerable, she said. Humans remove their layers not just physically, but emotionally. I've worn armor my entire life. Let me take off something tonight. Ethan looked into her eyes. She wasn't just asking to see his body. She was asking to see his truth, and to share hers. He nodded slowly. Okay. The lights dimmed further. Ethan removed his outer layer, carefully, respectfully. Zalari's breath caught not in shock, but in awe. Not at what she saw, but at what it meant. He trusted her. She stepped forward. Her hand reached out and lightly touched his chest. You're warm all over, she whispered. And you're beautiful even when scared, he replied. Zalari looked down. Her robe loosened at the collar. I don't know how to do this, she said. You don't need to, Ethan answered. Just be. Here, that's enough. And for the first time in her life, Zalari allowed herself to simply be. No mask. No role, no protocol, just a woman. Standing before someone who saw her. Outside the room, no one knew what was happening. Inside. Two souls from different worlds began a journey not of science, but of intimacy. And it had only just begun. Zalari had never felt her own body so clearly. The next morning, she woke not in her own sterile chamber, but in Ethan's warm, quiet room. She was still fully covered, lying on the softest surface she had ever known, a human bed. Her fingers brushed over the blanket. The fabric tickled her skin. Why is everything in your world so soft? She asked. Ethan, sitting near the edge, smiled at her. Because comfort matters to us. Zalari sat up slowly, her silver hair falling over her shoulders. Comfort is forbidden in my culture. It's considered a distraction. He didn't answer. He simply reached out his hand again. Zalari hesitated, and then placed her hand in his. The warmth flowed through her like energy. Her skin reacted in small, uncontrollable shivers. There it is again, she whispered. What? Ethan asked. That feeling like I'm falling inside myself. He squeezed her fingers gently. That's what it feels like when someone touches you with care. He didn't move fast. He didn't undress her. He just touched her hands, her arms, her face with slow, respectful affection. For Zalari, every single contact felt like thunder under her skin. Her species had never taught her to receive such attention. Touch for them was function, not feeling. But Ethan was rewriting everything. He brushed her cheek lightly with the back of his fingers. Zalari's breath hitched. Why does it make me tremble? She asked. Because no one has ever loved your skin before, he answered. She turned away, covering her face. This is dangerous. I feel like I'll break. Ethan stepped closer and whispered, or maybe you're finally waking up. She allowed him to continue slowly, respectfully. He leaned close again, pressing his forehead gently to hers. No kiss, just closeness. Their breaths mingled. Their eyes stayed open. You don't rush, she said. Pleasure comes from presence, he replied, from patience. Zalari closed her eyes. She let him explore her, not her body first, but her emotions. He asked questions others never asked her. What do you like? What makes you feel safe? What do you want, not what they tell you to want? She had no answers yet, but no one had ever cared enough to ask. Ethan finally placed his palm flat on her chest over her heart. Her skin lit up like fire. Her eyes snapped open. What are you doing? She asked, almost breathless. Listening, he said softly. To what? Your heartbeat. It speaks louder than words. Zalari swallowed. No, the Saran had ever done that. She didn't even know hearts could speak. And in that moment, she realized Ethan wasn't trying to take anything from her. He was trying to give. Hours passed in stillness. In touch and quiet connection, Zalari finally lay back, her body fully relaxed for the first time in her life. Is this what humans feel when they love? She asked. Ethan looked at her, his voice calm and deep. Not all humans. But this is what love should feel like. Her lips parted slightly. I never knew something this soft could be this powerful. He smiled. That's what pleasure is, power wrapped in tenderness. But just as her body began to feel at peace, her cum bead buzzed, a warning from the Veseran Council. She had been tracked. Her presence was unapproved. Her behavior was now under review. Zalari sat up fast, panic rising in her eyes. They know I'm here. Ethan stood calmly. Then, we don't hide, not anymore. They'll exile me, she said. And I'll stand beside you, he promised. She stared at him, this strange, warm human who never treated her like an experiment, only like a woman, a real one, for the first time. She smiled, not from duty, but from something that melted inside her. Zalari stood before the high circle of Visara. But she wasn't the same woman who once followed every rule. She had washed Ethan's scent from her skin, combed her silver hair into a perfect braid, and wore the traditional ceremonial robe. But inside her, something wild and warm refused to stay quiet. The council speaker's voice echoed through the glass hall. Cold, sharp, unfeeling. Zalari of House Velen, you are charged with deviation, unauthorized contact, emotional instability. Do you deny? Zalari raised her chin. Her heart pounded like a drum. I do not deny. I simply no longer agree. Gasps filled the chamber. One elder stood. You speak like a corrupted unit. Zalari smiled softly. No, I speak like someone who has felt. Flashback. One day earlier, Zalari had returned from Ethan's room, heart still fluttering. But something had changed. For the first time in her life, she looked at her world with new eyes. She walked through the city streets, the metal tiles, the gray towers, the expressionless faces of her people. It all felt dead. She passed by a pairing center. A couple stood outside, exchanging data chips. They didn't even look at each other. And then, like a whisper in her mind, she remembered Ethan's hand brushing her cheek. She remembered the heat in her chest. She remembered her first real smile, and it made the cold around her unbearable. I can't go back, she had whispered to herself. I've touched something real. Now in the present, the council surrounded her with questions. Did the human manipulate you? Did he use sensory bonding to control your thoughts? Did you engage in unauthorized intimacy? Zalari stepped forward. He showed me kindness. He asked what I wanted. He waited for my yes. That is not manipulation. That is respect. The council froze. Words like want and yes were not common in their language. You disgrace your bloodline, one of them said. Zalari's voice didn't shake. Then maybe my bloodline needs cleansing. Later that night, she returned to Ethan, but this time, she wasn't hiding. She entered his quarters with no robe, no guard, no fear. Ethan looked up from his notes, surprised. Zalari, you came back? She nodded. They tried to make me feel ashamed. He stood. Did they hurt you? She shook her head. No, but they tried to silence something that's already alive inside me. Ethan walked toward her, slow and steady. And what is that? Zalari took his hands in hers. The memory of your touch, the sound of your voice, the feeling of being seen. Ethan leaned in. You don't have to go back. Her voice cracked, but she smiled. I'm not going back. Not to that version of me. They sat together, fingers intertwined, skin to skin. Zalari rested her head on his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. They want to send me away, she whispered, to a cleansing colony. Ethan tightened his grip. I won't. Let them take you. Then what do? We leave before they come. Zalari lifted her head. Leave the Sara? There's a colony world neutral ground. Humans and aliens live there freely. No council, No cold rules, just choices. Her eyes filled with light. "Then take me there," she said. "I choose to go." That night, Zalari packed nothing. No medals, no robes, no family tokens. She took only one thing, a small data crystal. Inside it, a single memory. Her first kiss with Ethan. And that was all she needed. Asterisk. The alarm sounded at dawn. Not a loud siren, but a deep, low hum vibrating through the walls of Ethan's quarters. A sound no human would recognize. But Zalari did. Her eyes snapped open. "They've activated the recall code," she said, sitting up fast. Ethan blinked, still waking. "What does that mean?" Zalari stood, voice sharp now. "It means they're coming for me, now." Minutes later, they were running through the underdeck corridors of the research district. Ethan held a small escape beacon in his hand, his backpack bouncing on his shoulder. Zalari ran beside him, barefoot, her silver gown flowing behind like a streak of starlight. "They'll send memory drones," she warned. "They don't just erase records, they erase feelings." Ethan stared at her. "Feelings? They'll wipe me, Ethan. Everything I've learned. Everything I've felt with you." He stopped in his tracks. "No," he said firmly. "I won't let them turn you into someone else." Zalari's breath came fast. She had never broken laws, never run from anything. Her whole life had been quiet obedience. But now, with her heart pounding and her hand locked in Ethan's, she felt alive. More alive than she ever had on this frozen world. "This is what humans call freedom, isn't it?" she said between breaths. "No," Ethan answered. "This is just the beginning of it." They reached the edge of the landing zone. A sleek human shuttle sat hidden in the tall crystal grass. Ethan pulled out his code key. "This will get us off the planet," he said. "Once we're in space, they can't follow." Zalari looked over her shoulder. Lights were rising behind them, hovercrafts. And then she saw them, the Saran enforcers, white-armored, faceless. Fast, but they didn't attack. They just spoke through the speaker system. "Zalari of House Velen. Step away from the human. Your emotions have made you unstable. We will help restore you." Zalari didn't move. "Zalari," Ethan whispered, "we don't have much time." But she stood still, and then she turned to face the enforcers. Ethan's heart stopped. "What are you doing?" Zalari raised her voice strong, steady, no fear. "I don't need restoration. I need liberation." One of the enforcers stepped forward. "You are confused. This is not you." Zalari's eyes burned with light. "You're right. It's not the old me. It's the real me." The enforcer aimed a drone at her. "Stand down, or your memories will be extracted." Zalari lifted her hand and shouted, "I choose the human way." In a flash, Ethan pulled her into the shuttle and slammed the hatch shut. The engines roared. Shots hit the sides of the ship as it lifted into the sky. Sparks flew. Shields flared. Zalari grabbed the seat straps with shaking hands. "They'll label me corrupted," she sighed. "And I'll call you free," Ethan said with a smile. The stars opened above them. The world of cold rules and empty rituals grew smaller behind them. And Zalari, once the perfect daughter, once silent and still, reached out and touched Ethan's hand. Not with fear, but with purpose. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Somewhere new," he said. "Where no one owns your body or your heart." She looked down at her hands. The same hands that once moved like a machine. Now they trembled, not from confusion, but from feeling. And for the first time in her life, Zalari whispered something, not in duty, not in logic, but in longing. And he did. The stars outside the shuttle shimmered like scattered diamonds, soft and endless. Inside, the air was warm. Soft music played quietly from Ethan's datapad. Zalari sat close beside him, her fingers tracing gentle patterns on his arm, something she had never done before. The cold world she came from was gone. Left behind in the dark space fading behind them, she looked up at Ethan, eyes bright with something new hope. "I never understood before," she whispered, "what it means to be loved." Ethan smiled, reaching out to tuck a stray silver hair behind her ear. "You've come so far, Zalari. You've taught me too." She smiled shyly. "I was a prisoner of my own body, of rules, of silence." She touched her heart lightly. "But you showed me it could sing." They landed on a small green colony planet, their new home. No council, no cold laws, just freedom. Zalari stepped out into the sunlight, breathing deeply. She felt the soft grass under her feet, warm sun on her skin. And for the first time she laughed. "I'm not just an alien from the Sara," she said. "I'm a woman who feels, who chooses, who loves." Ethan took her hand. "And you will never be alone." That night, they lay side by side beneath the open sky, stars blinking above like silent witnesses. Zalari turned to Ethan, voice soft. "You changed everything, not by force, but by kindness. By showing me I was more than my duty." He kissed her forehead gently. "Love isn't just pleasure or procreation," he said. "It's trust, it's freedom, it's choice." Zalari closed her eyes, holding his hand tight. "Now I know what it means to be alive." In the days that followed, Zalari learned to laugh freely, to speak her feelings, to touch and be touched without fear. She painted her skin with bright colors, something forbidden on the Sara. She sang songs she'd learned from Earth. And sometimes, in quiet moments, she whispered, "Thank you for showing me warmth." Her past was behind her, but not forgotten. She sent a message to the Sara, a simple one. "I was once broken, now I am whole." And she waited. Because now she had something no law or council could take away. A choice, a heart. And love.